I mean, a lot of players, I don't think they want to play it because they know there's going to be a lot of hard counters to Royal Giant, so they don't want to kind of like use it just in case.
Yeah, I think a lot of players in this tournament going to be coming in kind of counter-strategying against that Royal Giant to start things off. So very much testing the waters. And, you know, these guys are more than happy to play things like your Snowball, Barbarian Barrel, your Mega Minion, because they're in so many decks. It doesn't really give away what you're playing.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Mega Minion, Barbarian Barrel is probably two of the strongest cards at the moment, paired with Snowball as well. Snowball's really good, but it does look like Ivan is coming maybe with a Balloon deck because he's got that Lumberjack in his deck. And this normally seems like that you normally play Lumberjack with either Golem or Balloon, so it could be either of those decks at the moment, but we're going to have to wait and see. EFEMGG looks like potentially Graveyard as well. I know I'm saying this a little bit early, but I've just seen a lot of these cards come out with the same deck, so we'll see what happens with that. We might be seeing Graveyard for... Oh, yep, Golem coming down from Ivan at the back, not a Balloon deck in the end, so it is going to be a heavy Golem deck. So we got Sparky coming in the back for EFEMGG. So some of these decks I haven't actually, I guess I haven't even seen the Sparky deck before. This might be something that's quite new in the meta. Some players practice off-meta decks, so this could be one of those decks that just counter maybe Golem, for example, because there's a lot of heavy cards in here that can take down that Golem. For example, Hunter got the Sparky in there as well, just nuking down that Golem. Golem not getting any damage to the tower. On the left-hand side there, maybe a little bit of splash, but not too much.
Yeah, now this is looking like a really strong counter push coming out from EFEMGG. He's got the Goblin Giant already onto the tower. The Mega Minion should just clear up the Sparky in time. Doesn't get a single shot, but the Giant itself did so much damage to that tower.
Yep, taking more than 1,000 HP off that left-hand tower, so Ivan really needs to get something done right now, but I just feel with EFEMGG's deck right now, I just don't feel he's going to get that Golem through whatsoever, because there's just so many hard counters to that Golem deck in EFEMGG's deck.
Yeah, and this is kind of your classic Golem beatdown deck where you've got the Night Witch in there as well, but against the likes of the Hunter and the Sparky, the Golem is really going to struggle to get through to that backline, and there's so much to kind of block as well. You've got your Knight in there, the Hunter now going to drop once again, but the thing is, the Hunter also great against the bats that the Night Witch will be dropping.
Yep, I mean, the Hunter just takes down... it's really good at... it's really weak, the Hunter, but it just does so much damage close up and pretty much cleared up most units, to be honest with you. So we got massive push coming in here with the Goblin Giant. We got Sparky in the back, Prince coming forward as well. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to make it through this time, but he does put the lightning down. That's crazy. I mean, the Golem got taken down before he even got over the bridge, so you can see how good EFEMGG's deck is against Ivan's deck.
Oh, that is a high-value Barbarian Barrel right there. Get the Lumberjack and finishing off the Golems. 3 seconds till overtime. Significant lead here for EFEMGG, but he's yet to have another good push just yet. He's been struggling to finish off and get on through onto that backline once again. Dark Prince going to be charging forward. His armor has been blocked. Lumberjack won't be able to do much there. Another hit comes in onto the tower, though, starting to spell cycle as well. 700 HP remaining. No more damage going to come through from this push, but again, it's a game of inches. Just getting that extra 300 is going to make all the difference.
Yep, I think EFEMGG is probably just going to be cycling through lightnings at the moment to be able to take this tower down, because he's going to deal with this Golem so easily and just get he just needs a little bit of a counter push, gets his opponent to place down some big units like a Night Witch, Lumberjack, something along that lines, and he'll get huge value out of that lightning.
Yeah, and once that Hunter clears away the bats, that opens him up to be able to use that lightning spell. That's one of the big things about a good lightning versus a bad lightning, is if you can clear away the small stuff that might distract one of those shots, you can do so much. This push actually doing a bit of tower damage from the side of Ivan. Not too much to worry about, though, and now Lumberjack comes down just to try and deal with this Giant, but with the Dark Prince in the back line as well, this could just be it. 500 health left, and the Sparky's moving on forward. Nothing on the ground to block it if it can just lock onto the tower, but it's actually going to be denied in the end. Very well played.
Yeah, this Sparky deck, though, or Sparky variations are just so strong right now. I mean, I guess they just counter Royal Giant really well. Like I've said before, they counter beatdown decks, and they're just really hard to stop. I mean, Goblin Giant, when it first came out, it wasn't really that strong. No one really used it, but since I think it got a slight minor buff.
There's another hit. There it is.
Good game.
Fantastic stuff coming out from EFEMGG. The Goblin Giant doing so much work. And here's the thing. It's a Sparky deck, ultimately. That's the card that the deck is built around.
Yep.
But Sparky wasn't really the thing that won him the game there. The threat of Sparky won him the game. But it was actually the Goblin Giant doing most of the damage.
Yep. I mean, the Sparky is just huge pressure all the time. You let that hit your tower once, it's half your HP, your tower down in one shot. So you can't really let that Sparky get even close to your tower. So we're going to get into the next game now and see what these guys are playing out.
Yeah, jumping straight into game number 2, and we'll see how much the decks are going to vary as we move on into the second game of the series here. Once again, Ivan up at the top of your screen and going to be on the bottom. Furnace comes out, and you have to assume that that means it'll be followed by a Royal Giant at some point. Ivan going with pretty much the strongest deck in the meta right now. Lumberjack actually going to be coming out as well.
I haven't actually seen the Lumberjack in the variation of the Royal Giant. I don't see why Lumberjack should really be in here. Maybe to push the Royal Giant forward after the Rage and get a little bit more damage done, but I'm not too sure about this deck coming out from Ivan. Probably just maybe help for a tank killer, maybe the Lumberjack, because Lumberjack is really good with taking out the Royal Giant and then having that Rage down. You have your own Royal Giant down and then get a massive push in with that Royal Giant. Get quite a few shots off.
It's interesting to see the two different strategies here as well. The Mega Minion going to be able to block for the Royal Giant here. It's going to do a lot of damage. The Lumberjack actually going to be pretty good in this scenario for DPSing down the opponent's Royal Giant. Good few shots in though. 1,400 remaining already, and the Electro Wizard going to be able to deny most of this damage. Mega Minion will go down as well. Very nicely defended, and that is a huge swing in favor of Ivan.
Yep, Ivan is just playing really well. He's getting good counter pushes off, and I think he's playing this just slightly better than EFEMGG, to be honest. We have the Barbaro coming forward on the left-hand side, probably going to get a chip on the tower, but maybe not actually. Barbaro coming down to counter afterwards, just cycling through, probably trying to get back to the Royal Giants, get back to their furnaces, and just get that chip damage done.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the first furnace from FM actually right next to his King Tower, very far back, so it wouldn't actually block the Royal Giant, and that specific play is a lot of the reason why so much damage went down in that first push. The furnace was too far back, and so it didn't distract the Royal Giant.
Yep. This is very true, but I guess sometimes you want to keep that furnace, because if your Royal Giant comes down, takes it out, it just gets huge value by shooting down that furnace in a couple of shots. So, but we do have the Royal Giant coming in on the left-hand side with the Lumberjack on both sides. So
pretty much playing the same deck exactly here.
Yeah, they're not much different whatsoever. I think they're literally it's just a mirror deck on both sides. Still both players still to show their lightning. I assume both have lightning. Fireball can also be in this deck as well, but lightning is what you see most of the time.
We'll have to see what they are going to play with in the end. Royal Giant will get yet another shot in there. 1,000 HP remaining, but it's actually starting to get real close. EFEMGG has answered for a lot of the early damage that came on through. Lumberjack goes down. Another Royal Giant here. There's not a ton of DPS there. The Lumberjack will be able to do a lot of damage. Barbarian on the backline as well, but the Baby Dragon really not going to do much. One hit does go in. The Rages all over the floor here. This actually might be a bit of counter damage from the likes of the Baby Dragon, but I think the Electro Wiz should be able to clean this one up. Once again, advantage still in favor of Ivan, but it's close.
I'm quite surprised. I guess most players don't want to use their lightning here just because you can expend too much elixir, and Royal Giant probably does more damage. But I guess, I don't know, it's probably the best move when your Royal Giant gets over the bridge. Like I said, I don't know if both these guys have lightning because they haven't showed it yet, because it could just be Fireball. But these guys are just forcing the Royal Giant through, putting their Mega Minion just directly on top most of the time against Royal Giant, and just getting the boost that way.
So far, so good for the likes of FM and Ivan. Slightly ahead, and that Royal Giant's going to get another hit. Surely the lightning finally comes out. Furnace is going to be able to block one more hit, and it will be taken out in the end. But even the Lumberjack connects. 300 HP remaining. We're getting close to spell cycle right here.
Yep, I think if Ivan can just defend this next Royal Giant from EFEMGG, he will definitely be able to take this game. So this will be pretty much the last push. I don't think that EFEMGG has the Mega Minion in his hand. Best to drop Royal Giant and Mega Minion directly at the same time, but I think he used it a little bit earlier. I think that cost him the game there. So all it took was lightning there, though. It wasn't going to take much to be able to finish that game off.
So just got to cycle on through and get to that lightning. Ivan going to be able to take it in the end, which means we are actually tied up in this series. It was FM that took game number 1. They swapped sides going into game number 2. So I'm curious to see who's going to be able to wrap up this series, especially considering they both played the exact same deck in game number 2.
Yep, I think that's one of the really strong meta decks for Royal Giant at the moment. It's probably the most used deck. There's slight different variations. I think guards can be swapped out for something else, mainly in that kind of deck, but that is the solid deck for Royal Giant right now. So I just think it needs to be toned down maybe a little bit, Royal Giant. We're seeing it all over the place, and I feel like it just needs to be just a little bit toned down. HP decrease, something along that lines. I mean, we definitely want to see it in competitive, but we don't want to see it dominate in competitive in every single match.
Every single deck. Here we go. Bats, though, meaning that something's changed up here for EFEMGG.
We could have a Lavaun deck, to be honest, coming out here from EFEMGG, but it's too early on to say, I guess. Flying Machine, again, a strong card. It's one of those cards that if you don't deal with it properly, it can do so much damage to your tower, so it's a really good card to play. Dark Prince as well, like, we've never seen Dark Prince until it got buffed recently, and it's just so much stronger than it used to be.
Already been in quite a few decks today, and incredibly strong when accompanying other big damage dealers, because you can just clear the way. We saw it in all of the Sparky decks earlier on today, because it just opens the door for Sparky to be able to get into the backline. If there's things like skeletons, it'll just deal with it immediately.
Yep. Yeah, it's got good splash damage from the Dark Prince. So, I mean, I think Prince used to be in its place, but since Dark Prince has been buffed, it's just been such a dominant card at the moment. It's got so much HP, does so much damage, and also that charge damage as well. It's just crazy damage. So,
yeah, definitely a huge split push threat when you can just drop it. Like, not only is it good in a push, you can also just drop it in the other lane to force a significant amount of pressure. It has to be answered, or it will take something down. P.E.K.K.A. comes in.
Bridge spam actually coming out from Ivan here, because it's got Bandit in there. We could have Battle Ram as well. I'm not too sure quite if it's got Battle Ram, but just because I see that P.E.K.K.A. plus the Bandit, it could just be a Bridge spam deck. Yeah. So we actually have Royal. I was going to call it Royal Hog there.
Yeah, Ram Rider
exactly
coming
same,
on
but
in,
it's Ram Rider.
But the Barbarians to answer. This is an interesting deck coming out from EFEMGG. Does answer on both sides. I thought the P.E.K.K.A. may get a shot in, but the Bats deal with that. This Baby Dragon will comfortably deal with the Barbarians, but nicely defended from EFEM, honestly.
I think he potentially maybe has a graveyard deck actually for his last card. He's waiting until double elixir before he maybe plays it, but I'm not too sure. He hasn't really shown his win condition yet, so maybe to find out what the last win condition card is. We've seen Ivan, so he's got the Ram Rider. It's a really strong card, but just enough versus Barbarians. We got Royal Hogs. Nice. I really like this player. Like the Royal Hogs, it's going to be hard for Ivan to stop this. They're still going to get a little bit chip damage on the tower, but this P.E.K.K.A. doesn't clean up very well. But the Flying Machine not over the bridge, not getting targeted by the tower, so that's just getting so much value against that P.E.K.K.A. right now. And
I mean, that's one of the great things about the Royal Hogs, right? The reason that you play them is they will get that little bit of chip damage. Even if there's a great answer in there, usually 1 or 2 hits will still come through from those Hogs. And it's just about, like I was saying before, it's a game of inches, right? Just chipping away on either side. I like this, dropping it in the middle, making sure that he can put pressure on both sides, since he doesn't have a huge health advantage on either just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ivan hasn't really got the cards to deal with Royal Hogs, especially with the split push coming down there from EFEMGG as well. We got a little bit of chip damage on both towers there, so he's doing pretty well at the moment, I think.
Yeah, Dark Prince going to come down as well, as we see the P.E.K.K.A. pushing in that lane. P.E.K.K.A. will make short work on our Dark Prince, but with a Musketeer and a Flying Machine. No, Lightning comes on through. This actually could be a very significant push. Baby Dragon going to be able to deal with the Bats. Barbarians come on in. The Snowball going to do some serious work there. P.E.K.K.A. just about surviving for now. He is being hit by the tower, though. Another Dark Prince will finally clean it up, but the Ram Rider got on through, and 1,300 remaining on that tower now.
Yep, that Ram Rider got so much damage and has got a really good connection. I think EFEMGG really just could not deal with that properly, and it was just such a huge counter push from Ivan, so really well played there from Ivan. But we're going for a slight split push here with the Royal Hogs again. One going up the left-hand side, and the rest getting a little bit of chip damage. So he is catching up on the right-hand side a bit there. He hasn't got a
that's
building.
A significant push there, down to 1,500 now.
I mean, along with the Royal Giant, you need to have a building to be able to deal with those Royal Hogs properly. Otherwise, they might just get damage in every single time.
The P.E.K.K.A. now moving forward once again. Dark Prince and Bats will be there to deal with it. But that Electro Wizard is slowly but surely burning through each of those. Actually, Bandit going to get a connection there. That's a lot of damage onto that tower. And that's one of the... I mean, Bandit is such a strong card. If it's unanswered like that, look how much damage it did individually.
Yep. It looks like EFEMGG is slightly behind in Elixir as well, so he needs to catch up a little bit here. There's lots of pressure consistently coming out from Ivan here, but the massive push coming left-hand side should easily be able to get dealt with here, I think.
And the Snowball actually pushing the Hogs towards the tower there as well, so that's going to be a huge amount of damage coming on in. 1,000 remaining. The counter push now. Ram Rider charging on through along with Electro Wiz, but P.E.K.K.A. on the other side.
Yep, Ram Rider not getting in connection there. Barbarian deals with it so well. But this, like you say, this huge push coming down the right-hand side, still trying to deal with it here, and P.E.K.K.A. and this Baby Dragon is trying to come forward. Really nice pullback there with the Royal Hog, but P.E.K.K.A. still making his way forward. Does not get that swing on the tower, and a bit more chip damage coming out from the Royal Hogs.
Yeah, bit of damage from the Baby Dragon as well, though. 900 remaining on 2 towers in the game, 1 on either side. This is actually incredibly even, and so much action in both lanes simultaneously. This is a difficult game for both of our players, and showing why this has gone all the way to game 3. Royal Hogs in the right-hand lane, though. This could be a huge push. There's absolutely nothing to defend it right now. Electro Whiz goes down, but the bats are there as well. Snowball finally deters the push, but 400 HP remaining on that tower.
I don't know if he's going to be able to take it down, though. He has no big spells in his deck. He needs to get another connection with the Royal Hog, and there's only 20 seconds left to go. So I don't think it's not highest HP wins.
Yeah, it'll be a rematch off the back of this one. Royal Hogs go through, Snowball there as well. We'll see if they get any kind of connection, but the Electro Whiz should deny that, and that is going to be a tie. We're going to have a rematch of game 3.
Yep, it looked like EFEMGG was going to maybe even win that match there. They had maybe 30 seconds longer to get that another Royal Hog pushed down. I think he would have maybe even been able to take that match, but we're just going to go straight into another match, I think. I wonder if they're going to change up their decks a little bit again. We're not just seeing Royal Giant, we're seeing different decks every single time. Right then we saw Royal Hog. Yeah. So it's just, we're getting very diverse decks here. It's not just the same decks over and over again. Because I honestly predicted it would be 70% Royal Giant.
I was expecting the same thing. I mean, when you look at CRL, when you look at some of the other tournaments around the world, Royal Giant is so prevalent unless it's banned away. There are no bans in this format, so I was expecting to see a ton of just Furnace Royal Giant in every deck, basically.
I mean, we have seen it definitely a little bit, but it hasn't really been there too much as it was maybe for the likes of CRL. So, but we're getting to another game right now. I think maybe EFEMGG. I don't know if they switched up their decks here a little bit. They're kind of running quite similar decks. Ivan's gone for the Bat Ram this time instead of the Ram Riders. So we'll see if he gets this connection with his Ram Rider at some point. His Royal Bat Ram at some point.
Yeah, aggressive start to the game there as well, going straight away with the Battle Ram as well as a bandit and whatnot. It does get answered very effectively though now. Prince going to charge on in. Barbarian Barrel should be able to make short work of that, and I don't think it'll get a hit in there. Well defended from EFEMGG. So both players kind of testing the water a little bit, but fairly different decks coming out from each of them. Bandit now comes down. Oh, here we go. Sparky once again.
Yep. You could pull it out kind of last minute there, but we do have the Goblin Giant coming forward here defending that bandit, but Pekka just taken down really easily there without taking any damage to the tower.
Sparky dropped. What's the answer to this Pekka going to be? Some minions behind it as well who will push on forwards. The Hunter will make short work of them though, and the Sparky is going to be able to melt through that Pekka. So very nicely defended from EFEM, and now the counter push. Dark Prince dropped as well, and a good look for BM as well.
We do have the Snowball coming down. It's going to be able to push the Electro Wizard just a bit further over, so maybe that Sparky's going to get a little bit damaged on it. Is maybe going to get a shot off here.
There it is. Huge damage coming through from the Sparky. We will have a bandit to block it in the end. Finally goes down, but I mean, that is the power of Sparky right there. Just a single shot is such a swing in the game.
Sparky, it's one of those cheesy cards that seem to have creeped into competitive now, whereas it was always cheesy before and no one really played it because it was easy to deal with. But now I think they kind of sped up the charge time a little bit, and that's why it's gotten a lot stronger now, so it shoots a lot more. But we have a good pull over here with the Dark Prince, and the Sparky just sniping it down, so not much chance for that Dark Prince whatsoever there.
Yeah, really nicely played there as well with the Goblin Giant, not only pulling the Dark Prince over, but setting up to push with the Sparky as well, getting that tank in position, and the Hunter just every single time denying this battle.
Yep, I mean, I don't see Ivan be able to get through here. I mean, EFEMGG has got so many counters to his deck that you can never get Bridge Spam through. I mean, Hunter takes down the Battle Ram really easily, and Sparky obviously just does a really good job at dealing up the Pekka as well. This lure every single time as well, taking that Dark Prince in the same way again. Yeah, the same way again. So I feel like Ivan's maybe just spending a little bit too much elixir here against these pushes. He's panicking a little bit. He doesn't look like he has any really big spells to be able to take this down. Yeah, so it's just hard for him to control this Sparky.
I think this is going to be game here because Sparky is pushing forward very fast, and that's going to be one hit from the Barbarian to finish things off, and EFEMGG will take the series in the end.
Yep, EFEMGG played extremely